Latest Steelers news. A celebrated veteran, a rookie with a lot of morale, and a coach who doesn't mince words. In New York, Brian Daboll seems to already have a favorite, but it's not who you think. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers showed up at practice and got some attention, but not exactly for what he did on the field. The latest Giants and Steelers news is getting people talking, and the backstage area is buzzing. Like now, because there's big stuff happening on both sides. Well, that Russell Wilson rebound tour in Pittsburgh turned out to be a one-and-done kind of deal. The veteran quarterback gave the Steelers a steady, though not spectacular season, tossing 16 touchdowns with only 5 picks and hitting on nearly 64% of his passes. But the wheels fell off down the stretch as Pittsburgh dropped its last 5 games, including a wild-card ousting courtesy of the Ravens. So, exit Wilson and enter the Big Apple. Wilson landed in New York this offseason with the Giants, and early signs pointed to him getting the nod as QB1 when Week 1 rolls around. But now things are heating up in East Rutherford, and not in Russ's favor. According to NFL insider Ian Rappaport, rookie Jackson Dart has already turned heads in a big way, and the vibes coming out of Giants camp are loud and clear. The kid might not be riding the bench for long. You listen to Brian Daboll talk, you get a real feel for how advanced Dart already is, Rappaport said. It's not if, it's when. Now that's not just your typical off-season hype. The Giants were aggressive in the draft, trading back into the first round to grab Dart at pick number 26. That move alone tells you how much they believe in the 22-year-old out of Ole Miss. And given that he was on the radar of multiple teams, including the Steelers, ironically, this wasn't some late-round flyer. This kid was a priority, and the Giants haven't been shy about their admiration either. Every time someone gets near a mic, it's another glowing review of Dart's poise, presence, and arm talent, which leaves us wondering, how long can Russ keep the rookie off the field? New York brought in Jameis Winston too, so technically they've got options, but based on Rappaport's latest buzz, it sounds like the Giants view this QB room less like a competition and more like a countdown. Unless Wilson finds a fountain of youth or Winston turns into 2019 Jameis, minus the 30 picks, it feels inevitable. Jackson Dart is coming. The only question left is how soon. Will things get even more heated at the Giants before the preseason? Let us know in the comments. Because things are far from calm in Pittsburgh. Alright, Steelers Nation, before y'all start buying Aaron Rodgers jerseys and planning parade routes, let's pump the brakes just a little. Rodgers may have done Pittsburgh a solid by agreeing to a very wallet-friendly one-year deal, but let's be real, we haven't seen much yet, and what we have seen doesn't really give us much to go off of. Steelers beat writer Mike DeFabo from The Athletic put it bluntly this week, anyone trying to tell you how Rodgers looked at minicamp, whether amazing or awful, is either pushing some agenda or just straight-up talking nonsense. The guy missed the first 2 weeks of OTAs and only showed up right before minicamp started, and once he got there, limited action. He tossed a few balls during routes on air, showed off that classic lightning-quick release, moved around a bit in individual drills, and that was about it. Not exactly enough to start calling him the savior or the problem. Look, nobody's questioning Rodgers' resume. 4-time MVP, first ballot Hall of Famer. But we are allowed to ask what's left in that 41-year-old tank, especially after the roller coaster he's been on the past few seasons. Between a busted thumb in 2022, a rib injury, and then the Achilles tear 4 snaps into his Jets debut, this dude's body has been through it. Sure, the numbers from last season don't look too shabby on the surface, tied for 7th in passing touchdowns, just shy of 3,900 yards. But dig a little deeper in that adjusted QBR, 48.0. That's 28th in the league. Yikes. The Jets' offense with Rodgers was middle of the pack at best, and now he's got a gel with Arthur Smith, who, by the way, reportedly wasn't too thrilled with Russell Wilson calling his own shots last year. So yeah, that conversation between Rodgers and Smith about who's calling the plays? Kinda important. DeFabo says they're aiming for some middle ground. Rodgers' gunslinging ways versus Smith's run-heavy style. Whether that marriage works or blows up in real time is anybody's guess. Bottom line? Rodgers might look sharp slinging it in camp, but don't let that hype train get too far down the tracks. Until the real bullets fly this fall, it's all just noise. Not every veteran will have an easy time in 2025, and not every prospect will be left on the bench. The Giants and Steelers are at critical junctures. Subscribe to the channel to follow every step of this saga.